Welcome to the Relentless Road Podcast. Welcome to episode number 52. It is March. I love March, Jennifer. My name is Tim Scribner. You are listening to the Relentless Road Podcast. I'm here with Ryan McDonald.
Hey.
And Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, I love March. Do you have any opinions on March?
I do. I age a year in March.
Oh.
See, and I thought we
started off so
I
well.
know. It's going to be like 70 degrees today, right? It's sunny. We've rained for like 40 days.
See,
and so
I love the rain too, so I like March.
But we've had so much rain
Yeah,
and cold.
I agree. I'm done with the rain.
And like when it's
Don't say
February, but when it's February, it's like the longing. And I don't feel like I can't complain about it being cold because it's February, it's winter. But now it's March, even though we're like 2 days in. It's like mentally it's shifted. Okay, it can't be cold anymore. I mean, I know it's going to be cold, but I can then cry about it and complain because it'll be sunshine and flowers and all this life. Except Jen ages another
Right.
year.
Yes.
Is this going to be the big one?
No, that was last year.
Oh.
Dude, fail
Now
again.
I'm just into it.
Doesn't matter after that.
Right. It really doesn't. I don't care anymore.
Okay, so you got 9 years before it matters again.
Oh, man.
Okay, today is Friday. It is the 2nd of March. Now, Mac, I want to get you a weight here in just a second, but we've talked a lot about identity on these shows. We've talked a lot about whether or not hanging around fat people makes you fat, whether or not these things are contagious, and the idea of becoming the average of the people you spend most time around. Jen, yesterday, you took off right as I was leaving, had an incredible opportunity for a good, I guess, learning experience with my daughter. So rumor mill got started around at the local middle school. Unfortunately, we had the tragedy in Florida with the school shooting a few weeks ago, and the rumor mill got started yesterday at the local elementary school. I'm getting my wife texting me, hey, can you go pick up our daughter? She's a little freaked out. A bunch of kids are going home. These rumors are going around about a shooter and this and that. So I go up there, and I don't know what to expect. Am I going to be the only parent, or is there going to be like a long line of parents? And there was other parents there, apparently for different things. But whenever I checked her out, and they asked me, why is she going home? And I said, well, I guess mental health. And I mean, she didn't even bat an eye. I mean, I guess there've been a steady flow. So somewhere in the morning, these rumors get started that a shooter is going to be at the school in the afternoon. And then, let me just take you through the narrative, Jen. So when I get my daughter and we're on the way home, early in the morning, she knew nothing about anything. All right? She knew nothing about any rumors. She hadn't seen anything on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know what social media they're on. I guess Snapchat. She hadn't seen anything. Early in the morning, she heard some announcements. She didn't really understand what they were talking about, but they made announcements saying, if you know anything about these rumors, that you need to come forward and, say something. Then she gets to third period. And apparently they sent out an email to every teacher in the school saying, read this email to your class. So now, third period, when they don't normally have announcements, you've got a teacher interrupting their normal flow and reading what has been sent to them, the script, talking once again, if you know anything about these rumors about a potential shooter and harm, then you need to step forward. It's a serious, matter, da-da-da-da. So my daughter now, she's paying attention a little bit more, but what she pays attention to is immediately when they read it, all of a sudden, different people in the class started crying. Their facial expressions dropped. What went from something of, okay, they announced something, but I don't really know what it is, to now you've interrupted the normal flow. You've made another announcement about it. And so a lot of these kids that had probably been talking about it or had been second-guessing it, all of a sudden it now confirmed it for them. By the time they get to lunch, she's sitting there with her group of girls, and they realize how many tables are empty, how many people have already gone home. And all of a sudden the conversation, that's all anybody's talking about, right? Mm-hmm. And so now they're interpreting everything. Now, I think it'd be interesting today to go up there and see how many tables were empty every single day during lunch, but how many did they notice yesterday? But it's a great opportunity to really walk through the idea of how fear is contagious. We talk a lot about, the habits of those around us. That if we're with someone who goes and gets pizza every day, well, it's hard to not end up going and getting pizza. But it's the same thing even with the mindsets, and this was a obviously more extreme example, but literally they created a pandemic, and it was apparently isolated with 6th grade. The other classes, where they didn't have, I guess, the students that were more prone to it or newer to the school system. But I mean, it was very isolated within 6th grade to where all of a sudden they were just knew something bad was going to happen. And everything they saw and heard confirmed it. And so I did get a chance to talk to her about the whole idea of, look, if someone says they're going to come and do something like that at this period and this is how they're going to do it, that's probably the safest time to be at school. I did get to explain that, what would happen if I said I'm going to rob the bank today at 2:30. I'm going to go through the elevator shaft. I'm going to come out. Well, the police would be waiting for you. I said, exactly. But that's what we all have to do. And I know we talk a lot about the little battles in our own head. And we all have that to where once a train of thought starts taking over and we start interpreting everything else we see through that train of thought, it's real easy to confirm that fear, no matter what it may be, or confirm that bias we may already have.
If you're looking for it, you're going to find it.
Absolutely. We can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. And it's the only way to combat that is to try to speak truth, speak logic, and not deny that we have it. I was very careful to make sure that, that there was no judgment on her feeling the way she felt. That it's perfectly fine for her to feel the way she felt. And then try to walk through practical, things with it. Because I think we all have those battles on a daily basis with whatever we're struggling with, and it's the idea of being able to step back, take a third-party perspective, and speak truth to ourselves and through the situation. But it was very, very interesting, and apparently whoever started it, and I don't even know if there was actual posts. The story she had was, you could tell real quick, it's just people adding their own legs.
That's going around like crazy right now.
I'm assuming it's got to be everywhere.
I've been getting emails from both my kids' schools, like every other day, about whatever happened that day.
And probably the same thing. These are just rumors. Or we assure you your children are safe,
right.
And this and that. And, not to diminish what has happened in some of these places. The flip side is that it creates a fertile breeding ground for fear and especially, what we know that men's brains don't fully evolve till they're 25. So, I mean,
at least.
At least.
If we're lucky. It's the idea that you're going to have these morons out there saying and doing stupid things. It's then, obviously within a situation like that, you've got to ascertain whether or not it's a legitimate threat. But I think we all deal with this on a daily basis in different ways, and it's us being aware of, okay, where am I believing a lie? And, if I am believing a lie, how can I change and speak truth basically to myself in order to change the lens that then I interpret everything? Because if I believe something's going to harm me, everything I see is going to harm me. If I believe that everything is conspiring to work towards me, I will start seeing paths where I used to see obstacles. And obviously, like I said, the example of their school yesterday is very isolated, but the same mental synapses, the same mental process, I think, occurs with us every single day, whether we're trying to confirm or deny whether or not we have the willpower to not have the cheesecake. We can believe we don't have the willpower, or we can convince ourselves that we do have the willpower, and either way, it'll manifest and work its own way out. But anyway, I just had to share my adventures in middle school with you here before we got started. So, Mac, you weighed in today. It is weigh-in Friday. How'd you do?
4 pounds.
4 more pounds. So
386 this morning. So down from 390. So
that's 26 pounds down since the holidays, or getting back on the holidays. So since 126, and that puts you 18 from your goal for the end of this month. And so 368 is the goal, 18 pounds away. You got 4 weeks to do it. So averaging just a shade over 4 pounds, you're heading in the right direction.
I need a good week to get a little bit of next week.
Well, now, okay, let's walk through that real quick. We got spring break in 2 weeks.
I know, yeah.
So, yes, you want to have a big week to create some buffer, but then if you started preparing or planning? You guys go anywhere for spring break?
Yeah, we might go up to the lake, but I should be good with an open fire and red meat. Maybe a little. Have to watch the adult beverages, but
Okay. Open fire, lake. I'm thinking beer and s'mores.
actually, s'mores didn't get in my head, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, those get me on camping trips.
The s'mores?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do have a weakness for it. I'll have a s'more.
Just hike a few extra miles.
One's fine, probably for you.
Hike a few extra miles.
Mm-hmm.
So you said adult beverages and red meat. Okay. So then I guess, are you guys going to be leaving on a Monday, a weekend? How's that going to play out?
I don't remember.
I would just think it would be good to be intentional on weighing like the day before you leave or even the morning that you're leaving, and then using that as your gauge of, can I have any alcohol? Because we're going to hit our goal of 368.
Yeah, because can't have beer, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That's out of the question. So I have done a little bit of research on the alcohol, and it doesn't kick you out of ketosis, but it stops the fat burning process because it's got to burn the alcohol first.
Yeah.
So I just got to be, that's a good idea.
Well, like I said, I would just
way before and see if I have any room to have a drink or whatever. So
yeah, and then just make it a cause and effect based upon that. So are you all going to be meeting your wife's family up there?
Probably so.
Okay. And so don't let them derail you. Crabs in a bucket, man. I'm telling you, if you're a crab trying to get out, somebody's gonna grab the leg.
No, he's been doing. He decided that he needed to do some stuff, so he went to the doctor. And so he's got a plan.
He's got a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's doing well right now. So
all right. So
we should be able to feed.
Any chance he's going to be listening to this?
I don't know.
Okay. Do they get this in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
The internet has made its
way
way to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Internet is in Oklahoma. I think he's listened before. Yeah.
Zach, don't let Mac throw you off next week. All right. Crabs in a bucket, man. He's trying to keep you down. Push each other out of the bucket. Okay, so 386 now. Last week you talked about you was having some foot issues. You thought it might have been too tight shoes. The other day, off air, you mentioned that you may have had some other working theories on this. How's your foot doing? How's it impacted? What kind of cardio you've done?
It still hurts.
Okay.
I did some good cardio this week, and
well, now what's good cardio? What have you done?
What's the Cybex thing? It's not the elliptical. It's the.
Are you talking? Oh, the arc.
The arc.
Okay.
Arc. The arc seemed to be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why than the elliptical. I guess it's
something to do with the foot placement or something. I guess.
Yeah. So I did most of the arc, and I did some interval stuff. 5 minutes rest, then 5 minutes hard.
Okay.
5 minutes rest. Not rest and stopping, but just kind of
okay.
continuing.
5 minutes recovery. Active
yes,
recovery.
Okay.
Yeah. And then.
So I think I did that 4 times this week.
Okay.
So.
Did you mix in any just recumbent bike or anything?
No.
Okay.
The kind of embarrassing, but hey, I'm open here. I think my belly's in the way for the.
I was just about to ask. But I was just sitting here thinking about that, and so the motion of, because it is the that's something a lot of us don't think of when we're giving advice to people, when we're thinking about it. The idea of a recumbent bike, it's taking the pressure and the weight off, but the actual design of the system, I can see how it could be constrictive in the sense that particularly if you have a large belly out in front of you, then you got your knees coming up in there. So even if you get past the uncomfortable, you're probably much more self-conscious on the idea that I'm assuming there's a little wave action going with the knees hitting each side.
It just didn't work.
Okay.
I tried it Monday. Was it Monday? Yeah. I tried it Monday and then jumped onto
the arc?
The arc thing.
So now what do you think's going on with your foot?
I have a theory.
He won't even say the word. So for those of you listening,
it's funny.
We had a conversation earlier this week, and Max got an issue with this word.
Zach always gives me trouble about. It starts with a G, and
grandma.
No,
going.
I'm not.
Gonorrhea.
No. Thank goodness.
Okay. Different show.
Calcium buildup. Isn't that what it is?
Calcium starts with a C.
Oh. Hereditary foot problems.
That's kind of wide open. I mean, you could have cleft foot or club foot or.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Mac believes it may be gout.
Oh Lord, why does that sound so nasty to me?
Gout sounds
Oh,
disgusting.
Yeah.
Gout.
It's even
Sounds
worse.
Like, it sounds like blistery and.
It does sound blistery.
It's even worse through the headphones.
He has an open gout sore. Is that possible?
Okay,
leaking fluids.
so my dad had it,
Exactly.
and it's from rich food, and I read somewhere that working out and sweating helps you because it relieves. So I haven't been doing that much, So, yes, I think that was part of the problem, or if not the problem.
I want to come back to the working out and sweating as a possible solution, but you had also mentioned that you hadn't been taking in a lot of greens.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, I haven't been doing really good on the greens. So I jumped back on the greens. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I can't stand like salads. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I have this bullet thing. I think it's called the bullet. Yeah,
the bullet or the ninja. I think it's the bullet.
And I just stuff spinach in there, like to the top, and then mush it down some more.
Papa the Sailor Man.
And then I dump water in there, and I just emulsify it. And then I just like shoot it.
Are you using any berries?
No, can't do that.
You could use blackberries or blueberries, couldn't you? I mean, berries should be fine. They're very low glycemic, low sugar, but they're high antioxidant that would help also with any type of inflammation.
Okay, I did not know that.
Okay,
I will add in some berries if.
Yeah, I'd say you should be fine with berries and
a little bit, yeah. But so it's really kind of like.
Notice how he did all this research to know he could have whiskey.
But no, yeah.
Just saying. Okay.
So I just, and it's just one gulp. It's like 25 ounces or
just
something like that.
Chug and get it down.
Get it down and get it where that body needs.
And then find the bathroom.
So that's a couple hours later.
Okay.
So.
I'm quicker release.
Yeah, it's nasty, but I gotta have it somehow. I gotta get it in me somehow. So my feet still hurt, but it's more of a dull pain. Unlike earlier in last week, it was very sharp. Mm-hmm. It was like, crap, that really hurts. Mm-hmm. So now it's kind of a dull pain, and I can sleep with my feet underneath the blankets. It was hurting at night so bad that I stuck my feet out of the blanket.
That literally even the pressure of a blanket would feel. Now, so have you done this all week or?
Just the last couple of days.
Okay, so you just
when I figured it out, or
okay.
I think I figured it out.
So you've just gotten started with that. I do want to touch back on. You said that you've read where sweating releases toxins.
Yeah. It was a couple of years. It was a few years ago. I was thinking about the G word and my dad and
gout. Is that G word? Okay, just making sure it's the gout word, not another G word.
And he was. I was like, I guess I don't have to worry about that because I always work out and I always sweat. That was my mindset.
Yeah.
Right there. I was like, I'm going to be working out and sweating all the time, so I guess I don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, evidently, I wasn't working out and sweating enough, and.
Well, but I think it's interesting because there's so many things, whether it's the idea of you have a foot pain, so therefore you don't want to move, but yet part of the remedy can be moving. It's the same thing we hear all the time with, man, I just don't have the energy to go exercise when I get done with work, but yet all the studies prove that,
Is that, I'm out on a limb here, is that correct? I mean, does that help?
Oh, absolutely.
That G word?
Oh, on the G word, I haven't.
The sweating and.
I
somebody
haven't.
comment. Somebody let us know.
Yeah,
I guess we could look it up.
Probably go to Wikipedia. Well, you said you read it somewhere. I don't know a whole lot about gout, but I guess I could start researching gout and finding out what kind of solutions for gout there may be for gout.
Zach's going to love this podcast. He does that to me too.
Now, did you read anything as far as does sugar have any impact within that? Because I always associate everything on the inflammation and sugar. And
all I remember about the research is the real rich foods, which I'm eating right now, and seafood, stuff like that, and lack of sweating and lack of working out, and
so it's the body being able to release the toxins, and then the build up from those foods.
But as we know, or as we're finding out, or as we've known for a while, but sugar, man, it is a toxin.
Well, but real quick, you're taking in these high fat foods. Where are you getting the bulk of your fat from right now?
Probably bacon, eggs, and some. I have some high fat meats at the.
So it's all
later.
animal.
It's
animal
all
fat.
animal fat.
Okay. I would suggest really trying to move.
You're
in.
gonna say.
Well,
I know
the other G word.
What?
Guacamole.
Guacamole.
It's actually an A word.
I wish I loved guacamole, man.
Well, but the
That'd be
idea
so
is
easy.
it's even beyond there. It's getting into some plant-based fats and then some oils. Of trying to your body processes them in a different fashion, and so maybe if you tone back on some of those and increase some oils, increase your
I definitely am
plant-based
getting plenty of
fats.
butter.
No, I'm sure you are, but that's still it's a animal based. It's coming from an animal anyway, in some form or fashion.
What oils are you talking about?
Your olive oils and maybe even coconut oils and stuff
Okay.
like that.
I did. It wasn't this week, but I cooked something in coconut oil. I got a big old bucket of it.
Mm-hmm.
You could put coconut oil in your shake too. It's good.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I do that.
It's like you got it in the big bucket where you
Yeah, you just put
scoop it out,
like a
and
tablespoon or whatever in there.
it looks like
And it totally,
rendered-
but it blends and then it has a coconut flavor.
And it'll leave you with more satiety later too.
good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we're gonna.
You'll be rocking here pretty quick.
This podcast is turning out to be a nice little.
The MCT oil would be another thing to maybe try.
Yeah, I
some of
hadn't.
that.
Everybody that's doing
gotta
keto is
ease
talking
into that.
MCT. I hadn't looked at that yet.
Well,
so.
it's you want to ease into it because your stomach won't be used to it. But as far as the sense of satiety and to getting the where, and I don't know if you have been there this time, but the idea where you just never even think about eating because you're always
that is actually where I am right now.
Okay.
And the intermittent fasting I've been playing with. I look at my food log and I'm, I try not to. I can't on what's the app I'm using?
get the
MyFitnessPal.
Oh.
Mhm.
So I was leaving it blank, where I was fasting.
Mhm.
But then I was like, okay, was that a real fast or just forget to put something down? So I made up a little fasting thing.
I think that'd be important though
to put in there.
yeah.
And even on the intermittent fasting, I am not feeling like hungry, like I'm gonna rip somebody's head off or.
But
eat
are
it or
you
anything
feeling
like
any
that.
lack of energy later?
There's
in the
a
day,
little bit, but most of the time it's dinner.
Okay.
So I only have a few hours to, and I'm wrapping up the day, so I don't need that much energy to.
Mm-hmm.
Drag a kid to his bedroom. So
Still bigger than them for now.
So that's working out pretty good. And one of the things I like most about what I'm doing right now is I don't feel hungry
Mm-hmm.
all the time, like the low carb stuff.
When you don't
or
feel
the-
hungry, it makes it that much easier to
Yes.
fight those battles because
Yes,
you
it is.
don't. If you don't have that compulsion and that pang, then you don't even have to think about it.
Mhm.
So then you're able to focus on other things as opposed to, man, I really like to have X. I don't want to have X right now. Maybe I'll have it tomorrow. When you're not playing that narrative out throughout your head, you're not as psychologically exhausted. So that I think is really one of the benefits of doing something like this is once you get into it, it frees you up from a psychological standpoint to fight other battles as opposed to that daily constant narrative. And I know there's people listening right now they understand completely, that battle is going on from the time they get up. Should I go to the donut store? No, I need to get, and it's just nonstop throughout the day. They get to the office. Well, she's got the, candy on her desk. I'll go around the other side. And then you're having to plan out every step. Whenever you remove that, it's a lot, not just freeing, but it's a little bit of relaxation in it.
Yeah, where like last night I went to one of my kids' things, and you walk in, it's at school, and there's just plates of cookies just as far as the eye can see, And you're like, I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
And I was actually fasting last night. So it was good, Well, do I have 1 or 5 or 6 or
just one, but just okay, one more. I'll do extra cardio tomorrow.
Yeah, it never works.
Well, today we was wanting to talk about hidden sugar. Mac, when you started really getting into the no sugar, no grains, and then moving towards keto and into keto, I mean, you had to get real specific about what has sugar, doesn't have sugar. You mentioned a little bit earlier about you've researched on how the body interacts with the whiskey, but then you were concerned about the berries with your shake, because you have to be very conscientious of where is sugar.
Fruits.
Yeah.
Fruits are those. Tell you what, I wanted to give him credit here. Ken D. Berry, MD, on YouTube. I've been going and bouncing stuff off and looking at ideas and subscribe to him. He's really, really good. His book is called Lies My Doctor Told Me.
Oh,
I haven't read it yet, but that's on the list.
Yeah,
I think
me
we all need to read that and do like a little book thing on it. And one of the things that you hear people say things about hidden sugars and hidden flours and stuff like that, but one thing that just jumped out at me one time he said was grated cheese. I've been doing grated cheese pretty regularly. I mean, I have it in the morning, every morning, on the eggs. And I'm like, grated cheese? I hadn't even thought about that. Sure enough, I pulled up the grated cheese dextrose. Okay, dextrose. I guess that's glucose, isn't it? Glucose is sugar. Why are they putting sugar in the cheese? And then all of a sudden you're looking, okay, so now this got some kind of, I don't remember if this particular one had flour, but well, how do they keep the cheese from sticking to each other? Well, that's what they're doing. How do they make it more palatable to the American palate? They stick freaking sugar in it. My wife, she was so sweet the other night. She went to the grocery store.
Is she not sweet every night?
No, she's sweet all the time.
Oh, okay.
She's awesome.
Just want to clear that up.
Well, it was an act of kindness, and she brought me home this beautiful peppered salami thing. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so good. And then I looked at the package. I meant to bring it this morning, but I forgot. Sure enough, sugar, carbs. Why does peppered salami need sugar and carbs in it? They're just trying to make it more for the way we eat. And so I was kind of bummed about that.
Well, I mean, you figure that there's a lot of research that's been coming out in the idea of the addictive nature of sugar, and some even try to make the case that it's as addictive as heroin. And, it's if you want someone to buy more of something and eat more of something, then it would be a chemical
Went to
compound.
breakfast this morning, after my weigh-in, I always go have me an omelet, and got my coffee, and I was like looking through all the creams and everything, and just happened to read the half and half thing. Okay, half cream, half milk, right? It had high fructose corn syrup in it. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap! It's half and half. Why do you need high fructose corn syrup? I guess as a filler. It's so cheap. It's so
because you will get more
everything.
of it, and you'll come back to it, and then you'll buy more.
So what I always wonder is when things say and they'll say less than 2% or whatever it is, and then it'll have the list of stuff. You'll ever look at that much, and then it'll be at least one of the things will be a grain, like a flour of some sort, and then one will be a sugar of some sort. And I was wondering how much is that exactly? Is that? I mean, is that? Can you get away with that if it's less?
Well, within
if it's
there,
on that little list.
but their percentages are always based upon a 2,000 calorie diet. So whenever you see 2%, that's 2% for that serving size of what you should need for that day. Now, that does not mean, for someone like Mac who's trying to keep it underneath a certain amount of grams probably, then he would have to pay more attention to, is it 3 grams, but it still may be 2%. So, yes, the percentage sounds, safe.
Right.
And now within what Mac's doing, where he has to keep them so low, and then for anybody who's trying to eradicate the extra
all that
sugars.
crap. Or just crap in general.
Yeah, because it's just things that are thrown in
fake
there.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's not how it came out of the ground. It's not how it came on the tree. It's not how it was shot in the field. It's these things that are added to it. And but then yes, when we look at the 2%, it makes us feel, oh, it's only 2%.
Well, sometimes you're like desperate. You're at a gas station and there's like nothing, and all you can find is like a beef jerky, and then for some reason it has to have crap in it, but it's like it's like the best option that you can find. So
I went to my barbecue place the other day, where I stopped a couple times the last couple weeks, and the cook was running the cash register, and I was like, hey man, I know this sounds weird, but do you put any sugar or any kind of sugar substitute stuff in any of your rubs? Because I like the place because it's a dry rub rib. If I'm going to go have a rib or something like that. Some people, you get your ribs and they look like they've been, they're drowning in barbecue sauce. And I don't go to those places. They do that with, and he said, no, man. No sugar whatsoever, just some spices, and I was like, awesome. I can keep coming back. You're doing a good job, man. So it's amazing where it's all hidden. Jen, you kind of pulled up something the other day about what they call sugar.
Yeah, it's a crazy. I mean, anything that ends in OSE is,
What we're talking about is whenever you're reading your labels, it may not say sugar.
No,
these are other terms that the way your body's going to respond to it, it's still sugar.
Right. Any kind of syrup, juice, OSE word, RIN, words that end in RIN, honey. But dates is a funny one because I know there's this bar. I don't remember what it's called, and it just says like 4 ingredients only, gluten, grain-free, gluten-free, no sugar. But then the number 1 ingredient is dates.
Huh.
So dates have a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're like, well,
I don't have dates, but
that's just something a lot of people use now to try to say that it doesn't have sugar.
Well, and then within there, and according to what someone's individual goal is, there's something we said as far as a natural occurring sugar in a date or a honey, as opposed to.
And because paleo allows honey, right? And honey's good.
Oh no, and once again, it's whereas what Mac is doing as far as trying to stay in ketosis, that would be too much for him, and that the body does interact a little differently glycemically as far as we don't end up with a huge rush and then big crash. We don't have all the insulin levels get out of whack typically from natural sugars like that. But then, so you got another list of what the grains that your body interacts in the same form or fashion.
Oh yeah, but that's
the generic.
Right, wheat, corn, rice, quinoa, oats, barley.
And that's the thing is that according to, I think it's important because we get information overload. It's like I should stay away from everything, or I should only eat this or only eat that. And it's experimenting with your own body. What does your body respond to? And whereas honey and dates may be fine for some individuals, for others they may not be. But I think what we end up with is a situation where our norm is the feeling the roller coaster. For years, what was the Snickers commercial? hungry, why wait? And it's the whole idea, packed with peanuts. It really satisfies. Well, peanuts to me are like a tortilla chip, right? Some people eat tortilla chips, but a tortilla chip is a delivery mechanism. Its purpose in life is to deliver queso or salsa to my mouth, right? That's what peanuts are.
Or beef, or
whatever
to be
else
covered in chocolate as M&Ms.
Exactly. It needs to be covered in chocolate and not melt in your mouth, or not melt in your hand. But it's that same type of deal. These things are delivery mechanisms, but it's the idea that the norm is having these spikes and crashes. The norm is, it's 2 o'clock. I mean, I've got it's an old poster, actually. It's a tin, I guess not an actual poster, but remember those tins that were kind of like advertisements in the old pharmacies and whatnot? And it's the drink a bite to eat. It's an old Dr. Pepper one from, I think, the 50s, and it's, 10, 2, and 4.
Oh, yeah.
Drink a bite to eat. So you've had breakfast, so by 10 o'clock you're crashing, right? So you need that sugar pickup. Noon, eat 2, 4, you got to get those things so you can get home. But we think that's the norm, that's our body's rhythm, and it's only our body's rhythm because of our diet deficiencies. And so when we just see that as the norm, we don't see it as a problem. So now, Mac, whenever you go back into when you're eating off of keto or eating maybe you decided, screw it, this weekend I'm going to have whatever I want, you are you're more aware and cognitive of the difference in feelings, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's one of those things that we never get off the crazy train to realize we were on the crazy train. And I think that's where most of us kind of spend too much of our time.
There's just so much stuff hidden from us in our food. And 5 years ago, I wouldn't have. Well, heck, 5 months ago. 5 months ago, I couldn't have told you that. So, y'all check out Ken D. Berry, MD, on YouTube.
And he wrote that book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lies My Doctor Told Me.
Lies My Doctor Told Me.
I got it written down.
Yeah, we have to.
I think we need to get that and read it together or something like that.
That's a book club.
All right. So
2 weeks. That's what we're going to talk
2 weeks?
about.
2 weeks? Okay. So.
Let's see if Amazon
Yeah, I was
can
going
get
to say, look it up real quick.
But can we say book club a little more masculine?
Book club.
Book club.
We'll put his info in.
There's no way to say book club that sounds masculine. We're going to have to come up with another name for it. We're going to have a group reading. And discussion.
Around the campfire.
With s'mores.
Oh, let's see, you went there.
Couldn't help it.
Meat on a stick.
I'm not even going that direction.
Oh.
Let's get back to the gout.
Oh. So you had to go there at the end.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you would like to follow Mac's story a little more closely, you can go to Relentless Road on Facebook. Give him maybe send him some gout recipes.
Holy.
They have those. Make sure they're sugar-free, though. And please go to iTunes, hit subscribe, share this message with your friends. You can also find us on YouTube at Relentless Road. Just go into YouTube, search Relentless Road, hit subscribe. Give us some feedback. If you have something you would like to hear us discuss other than gout, or if you want us to delve into gout a little more directly and spend a little more time there, please let us
Cue the
know.
music.
I'll tell you what, share your gout story with Mac
the music.
on Relentless Road Facebook. We hope today that we have inspired you as you continue to inspire us.